Texans training camp is finished, but what changed as training camp went on about the Houston Texans? I'll tell you, powered by my friends at BetUS, offering you a 125% bonus on your first three deposits up to $2,000. Check out the link in the description down below for that. Training camp wrapping up with the joint practice against the LA Rams. One preseason game remains in all of the preseason for the Houston Texans, and then the 2024 season is right here. But three very big things about this team changed for me. And there are three things that could help define this 2024 season for the Houston Texans. I start with the offensive line, and I'm kind of downgrading how I feel about the offensive line. If you've been watching the channel for a while, I've been very bullish on the potential of this offensive line. I like the offensive line coach, Chris Strausser. I believe in the talent that they have, but it has not been consistent enough over the course of training camp for me to get excited about where this offensive line is right now. Sure, they have the potential to be headed in the right direction. And I don't think they've got to be some sort of amazing, incredible offensive line for the Texans to have success, but they can't be a detriment to this team. They've got to be able to run the football, and they've got to be able to keep CJ Stroud upright. And they don't have to be amazing. So something around the 12th best offensive line, anything better than that's a little bit of a bonus. Anything worse than that, and you might be a little bit of a hindrance to where the Texans want to go. But yes, they just got Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard in there. And it's the starting line that they want and they've wanted for over a year now. But I'm a little worried about it clicking and the cohesion right away. Blake Fisher has actually done a pretty good job easing my concerns about the swing tackle spot, but I'm still just not in love with this offensive line, and I wonder if maybe I was a little laissez-faire with the approach to the offensive line. Yeah, Shaq Mason will just do what he did last year. Oh, Laramie Tunsil will be better because he's healthy. Oh, Titus Howard's back at his natural position. Same with Juice Scruggs. And Kenyon Green changed his body, so he'll be ready to go. There's still some building to be done on that offensive line. So while I went from probably not worried about it at all to there's a little concern, let's keep an eye on it, I will have to say, over the course of training camp, downgrading that offensive line just a little bit. Hopefully I'm wrong and they were just going against an awesome Texans defense each and every day, and that's exactly why the offensive line couldn't get anything going. They're not going to face a whole heck of a lot of defenses as good as what the Texans were putting together in training camp over on the defensive side. The second thing for me that changed drastically is the ceiling for Stefon Diggs. I thought he was going to come in and for sure be good. But I knew that Stefon Diggs was a guy that was the number one unquestioned target in Buffalo. Over 160 targets per season in his 4 years in Buffalo. They threw the ball to him about as much as anybody in the NFL over the past 4 seasons. And so I thought, hey, without some of that volume, maybe Stefon Diggs will take a little tick down overall on what he can bring to the table. Plus, there was that little slip there in the back end of the season where you could explain it away with better defenses and a change to the offensive scheme in Buffalo. But there was a little thing in the back of my mind saying, yeah, what if it's just a turned about to be 31-year-old wide receiver who just kind of ticked down a little bit? Well, I was wrong. Stefon Diggs has showcased dominant potential in training camp. He is unguardable sometimes, and he and CJ Stroud are on the same page. They are simpatico. They are incredible on some of the short stuff. They've hooked up on long passes as well. Diggs' ceiling is so much higher than I expected it to be, and I do believe he can be the best wide receiver on this team. I would not have told you that when he was added to this team. I would not have told you that when training camp started, but I fully believe that he has the chance to be the best wide receiver on the Houston Texans this year. Because Diggs is so dominant, I want to show you something from my friends at BetUS. When you hit the link in the description down below, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. I want to show you something. You go in and you load up your account, you get ready, and you want to make a season-long bet that has fantastic odds and a great chance to succeed. I mean, Stefon Diggs has been dominant. He has not gone below 6 touchdowns since 2016. 2016 was the last year Stefon Diggs didn't have 6 or more touchdowns in the NFL. Isn't it kind of crazy that 5.5 is the number? So get in there. I'm going to throw 50 on it. Probably could throw a little bit more, but we got a lot of Texans that we want to bet on over the course of this season. So $50 right there on Stefon Diggs. Been since 2016. He hasn't had more than 6 touchdowns or more. Man, you can't miss out on that opportunity for my friends at BetUS. So Diggs' dominance got you feeling good, got you going over on the receiving touchdowns. Really simple. Hit the link in the description down below. And then Kamari Lassiter is the last thing for me that changed. And his ceiling is another thing that was very different. Look, I don't know that I loved the Kamari Lassiter pick when it was made. I started to like it more and more and more as I watched more and understand more and listened to Kirby Smart talk about him. And then immediately, right away, you could see that the Texans trusted him. Even in minicamp, he was getting reps with Derek Stingley on the other side of the field, going against Stefon Diggs and Nico Collins and Tank Dell and succeeding. Kamari Lassiter's ceiling is much, much higher than I expected it to be. Now, is he going to be the best cornerback in football as a rookie? No, no, no. Is he going to be Sauce Gardner, all-pro as a rookie? No, no, no. But he is going to be much better. And maybe this is not so much about the ceiling as it's about the floor for Kamari Lassiter. Like, he's just going to be better as a rookie than I expected him to be based on what we saw in training camp. The consistency was there. And really another thing that we didn't see as much in training camp, we saw it a little bit more closer to the end, and certainly in the joint practice against the Rams. He's going to stick his nose in there on rush defense as well. How many rookie cornerbacks, how many young cornerbacks, how many cornerbacks across football get scared to death when a running back starts flying their way out there on the edge? Not Kamari Lassiter, man. He is a much better player than I expected him to be this early on in his NFL career. And so while I initially said the ceiling was higher, yeah, certainly the ceiling is a little bit higher than I expected. What I truly mean is the floor is higher for Kamari Lassiter than what I expected out of the rookie here in 2024. So the 3 things that changed for me in training camp: not as high on the offensive line. I needed to be higher on Stefon Diggs, and I am over 5.5 touchdowns this year for Stefon Diggs, receiving touchdowns, that is. And the floor for Kamari Lassiter is much higher than I expected it to be. What changed for you over the course of training camp? Let me know in the comment section down below. Put your changes from training camp in there and let me know. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to visit our friends at BetUS. Get in on Stefon Diggs, over 5.5 receiving touchdowns, and use the link in the description down below to get that 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.